Baby, I'm ashamed. My love is cocaine. No, I can't take the pain.
Blame by Mr. Jordan V. We really enjoy his sounds here at A Real Sisterhood, and if you have not checked him out yet, please go along to his Instagram page at Mr. Jordan V and send him a like and a share and say, let him know you heard about him. Next, in the studio, we are joined by, and I hope I'm saying this right, Ben Seville. He is our guest here at A Real Sisterhood this Grand Rising. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm so happy that you're here with us. So I'm going to let our listeners know where I heard about you, Ben. So one of our previous guests, her name is Charlotte, she met you with her son. And she was like, Charlotte, oh my goodness, I met this man, his name was Ben, his message is amazing. And she just couldn't stop raving about you. So I went and had a look at your page and started to check you out and watch some of your videos. And you're freaking awesome. You're freaking awesome. His message, people. His message. I hope you don't fit in.
I hope you never fit in.
Thank you. I love that correction. I hope you never fit in. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later on in the show. But welcome, Ben.
Thank you very much.
Being here. How was your journey this Grand Rising?
It was good.
It's beautiful out there today, isn't it?
Yeah, nice weather. It's just a beautiful area too, Hackney.
It really is. I feel so fortunate to live in this community. Thank you for joining us on the show. So we're going to start with some icebreaker questions, Ben. This is something new that I was thinking about doing for a while. But I thought, what a great way to soften up the morning and maybe bring a few giggles into the studio. Okay, so first question, Ben. Suppose you'd been given an elephant and you can't give it away and you can't sell it. What would you do with it?
I can't give it away.
Can't give it away, Ben.
I have to own it, right?
Yeah.
It's my elephant.
That's your elephant, Ben.
I have to own it.
What would you do?
New mode of transportation, I think.
I think that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Ben riding down the road on the elephant. Yeah, quite like that. Okay, so in the movie theatre, Ben, what side of the armrest is really ours? I mean, which armrest is ours? Is it both? Or is it just one of them? Let us know.
Yeah, I don't know. Depends the energy you go into the movie theatre with, right?
Okay, right, yeah.
But it's the right
It's
arm,
the right. Okay,
one.
I mean, I'm happy to share, Ben. I don't mind if someone else wants to use the armrest. I like both though. Okay, last question. You have discovered a beautiful island. I like this question. Upon which you may build your own society. And you can make all the rules. What is going to be the first rule you put in place?
The first rule is...
Beautiful island, own society.
Yeah, I guess the rule would be no judgment.
I love that.
Yeah, no judgment. Create art.
Yes!
Express yourself.
We're going to give that a round of applause. We like that. That's fantastic. Okay, so Ben, welcome to the studio. Thank you for joining us on A Real Sisterhood and partaking in our first ever icebreaker question section. We've never done this before, so hopefully we'll continue to do it. Okay, so tell us a little bit about you, Ben. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Gants Hill.
Okay.
Grants Hill area. I was there until I was about 18.
Okie dokie.
I moved to Nottingham for university in Nottingham.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, how was it growing up in Ganston? Because I grew up in Newbury Park.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was my experience of life, right?
Yeah,
That's
right.
all I knew.
That's right.
Was Gants Hill. I liked it. I liked it to an extent. I don't think it ever wowed me. It never was like amazing, but
Okay.
it was good.
Nice. Lovely. I think as well, when we grow up in a place, we can sometimes kind of, you don't appreciate it as much until you go away from it for a while.
Uh-huh.
And then you come back and you enjoy it a little more.
Absolutely. I mean, coming back during lockdown,
Yeah.
I did feel a bit more wowed by it.
Yeah.
Actually, like traveling, almost like traveling in my local area, feeling like I'm really exploring this area so much. And
Yes.
there were things like street art that started to stand out to me. Not so much exactly where I lived, but cycling around a bit more.
Absolutely.
I found places that were like, whoa, this is cool here. There is a lot of expression. There is, pockets of things that I never knew about. And now, around this area, I love it. I mean, this is an amazing place to be.
It is. Totally.
But yeah, growing up, I really didn't have the appreciation for it.
I hear that.
My life was just go to school.
Yes. The normal monotony. And I think you living in Nottingham, there must have been a massive contrast, right?
It was really different. Yeah, of course. Like I'm now free to live my life how I want to.
Yes.
As much as I can. I'm free to try and live my life how I want to, I would say. And going to university, realising actually that wasn't for me so much. Getting work, working in a bar, then starting to create my own things. Like I started to create events of my own. That was a big thing for me. Actually having some control over the life I want to create.
Absolutely. And realising what you can achieve when you put your mind to it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. So, okay. So tell us about your narrative. I hope you never fit in. What was the starting point of that? Where did it come from?
I hope you never fit in.
Never. So never.
Yes.
Never.
Exactly. Never, ever, ever.
Ever.
I guess like with all important messages, it came from a place of pain and a place of frustration, a place of feeling lost and like I'm battling with myself, but also like really nothing's actually happening. I'm not really doing much. I'm just it's just tough, everything feels tough and I'm doing things for the wrong reason. And I remember there was a period of time where I was in lockdown. I was in lockdown with my friends.
Yes.
And it was good, I got to experience life with them and enjoy being with them. But I felt so much like something's not happening here. Something's not happening. It's very easy for me to be with you guys and to fit in and to have fun how we always have done and how we've built our relationship. But that revolves a lot around intoxication, being intoxicated. Yeah. And like waiting for a party to happen and that's
until the fun happens. Yeah, you can just create it in the moments that you're in.
I mean, we were just waiting for fun all the time and everything else was missing. It was always just all the other moments were missing and it was so easy for me to pick up alcohol, go to a shop and I know this to pick up pints, right?
Yeah, right.
But then for me to do anything that's like a bit weird, a bit like people might look at me a bit weird for doing it. It's not who I've been throughout my life. I'm not fitting in with this group. I'm not fitting in with myself. I realised like that was the trouble I was having. Like certain moments they didn't feel good, not because I wasn't having fun, but because that was the only reason we were together.
I understand.
Not for me to express myself, not for me to find out anything interesting, not for us to push ourselves or to create something that feels more powerful than what we've ever done before.
I understand.
Like parties and having fun is parties and having fun. But that was really like the whole glue to our relationship and our friendships, and that's good, but it's not great. It's not life-changing. It's not worth note. It's really not worth note.
I understand this.
And then coming out of that lockdown, I went and I started to appreciate art even more. And it was weird. It was weird for me to ask. I invited a girl that I'd met in salsa, which was a brand new activity for me. I invited her to come on an art tour with me. Again, I don't go on art tours, but I just wanted to express something new.
Absolutely. Try something different. See what you like.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And it really didn't matter what the outcome was, but I was engaging with life more.
It sounds like you wanted to explore life more.
Absolutely.
And maybe that's it. Please forgive me if I'm generalising, but was that a moment of realising I don't actually fit in here? And that's okay because you want more.
Yeah, it's realising in moments of like being around loads of people, being in groups, and there being so much discomfort in the fact that I realise I don't fit in. But it's like if I was to try now, if I was to go deeper into, okay, I don't fit in, it feels really uncomfortable, I should make an effort to. it's like I'm just lessening myself. I'm just suppressing the pain.
Yeah.
Like the same of the drinking, right?
Yes.
Being amongst a group of friends, it's like, oh, before the drinking, I feel like I don't fit in. Let me suppress the pain. Let me get drunk.
Yeah.
And then, okay, cool, I feel good.
Yeah.
Here. But then, actually, there was a different kind of pain.
Yes.
A more real life pain that actually turned into this I hope you never fit in concept.
Okay.
And that was a moment where after all of this lockdown, after going out on this date to an art tour, I wanted to start expressing myself. I was looking at these names like Banksy. We were talking about people like Picasso. We were talking about people like Shakespeare.
Yes.
All of these people glued us together. All of these people we didn't know. We didn't fit in with each other, but we were glued over names.
Yes.
And I was like, how did these people get a name? They just didn't care. They just expressed themselves as best as they could. They kept... Loads of people were probably like, that's weird. Think about Picasso. The stuff he does is weird.
Yeah.
Banksy.
Yeah.
He's got some balls
Totally.
to be doing the things that
Totally.
he's doing. Definitely rejected amongst many
Definitely.
people. And then Shakespeare, I don't know enough about the history, but he doesn't fit in, right?
Yes.
And this was very important to me. And I went to a hobby craft and I picked up some paints. I was like, man, I'm going to actually start to adventure into my life in the ways that these people did. Banksy, Picasso, William Shakespeare, all of these people that have some kind of expression, something about them. They have a name for themselves.
Yes.
So I went to this shop and I went to pick up paints and I thought, oh, it's smooth sailing now. I'm just going to pick up paints and I'm going to start painting. But the first point where it became hard for me was picking up the paints.
Okay.
The first part where it became hard was picking up the paints, seeing, oh, cool, I've got these spray paints. Wow, look at all these beautiful colours. Look at what I can do.
Yeah.
I pick up some amazing colours, some electric blues, some loving pinks. And from there, I really started to feel uncomfortable. I kept picking up the paints, putting them back. No, this isn't for me. Picking up a black, picking up a white. Right, yeah, picking up a white, picking up a black. No, actually, maybe I should just get those two colours because they're a bit more play it safe. And it's £7.50 for this. And there was so much like, I can't do it. Yeah, you're not a painter. Like these thoughts in your head, you're not a painter, man. What are you going to express? This is going to be like a fleeting joy, I guess. One thing that you like for a bit of time. And I was just like, I kind of got to the point of, actually, I won't do it because who am I kidding? I'm not an artist. Who am I kidding? I don't know how to do this. Who am I kidding? It's way easier, like so much more easy for me to go back, save that money, however much money I was going to spend on paints, buy some beers and go and hang out with your friends again. Because that's easy. Because that's the easy thing to do.
You are hitting nails on the head. People need to hear this. This is brilliant.
I mean, and then from that point on, actually picking up paints, feeling the pain of picking up paints and being like, whoa, this is kind of a calling for me. I know I feel strange, I know I feel out of place, but this is the right thing for me to do. I found myself in a new place, actually, a place I can conquer now. I'm out of place here, but I can conquer it.
So you overcame your internal negative dialogue and allowed yourself to create.
I guess that's, definitely a way of putting it, for sure.
I mean, that for me is massive. And I think I know that for me, when I look around and I see younger people now, I think that they're awakening to this a lot earlier than what people of my generation did. And it is a beautiful thing to see. And that internal battle is very real. Can sometimes make you feel really out of place. That that you're not worthy in a sense to kind of do this thing. And the fact what you just said just now, it is about just getting up and kind of pushing through and allowing yourself to just create these masterpieces that you've got within you. I think it's so important. So the fact that you allowed yourself to do that, I mean, hats off to you.
Thank you.
And I'm sure it must have inspired quite a few of your, maybe not friends as in people you know, but the people that you've met along the way. Do you have anything to share about that?
Well, the work that I do is life coaching.
Yeah.
And from that point on, wow, there was so much more juice in what I was achieving amongst like groups that I'm putting together or that I had at the time.
Yes.
Or actually, I was putting together at the time, one-to-one clients, and then the workshops that I was running. It's like, oh wow, man, like there's embodiment of this. There's the things that you've been talking about for a long time. There's an embodiment of it, and we could just follow your journey.
Absolutely.
People saying this to me, wow, man, following your journey is amazing. It's like, this is unbelievable.
Yes.
But really inspiring it amongst artists. Artists are people that I really like to work with in my life coaching. It's really the big focus, and seeing them take some brave steps, like a young artist that I was working with at the time, just very briefly in a workshop actually. She'd created a lot of success in doing commercial art, right? And doing murals, and mostly she was doing murals actually, and then a bit of smaller projects too. But when we were talking about it, she came to a realization in the ways that I was presenting things, that she didn't like the art she was doing.
Okay.
She's young. She was younger than me. She was about 20 or 21.
Okay.
And she's created success in her own projects, doing commercial work. But the part where I came in, which some people might be like, whoa, she's successful, so why interfere?
Yeah.
She hated the art she was doing.
Right. So she wasn't being authentic.
Yeah, exactly. She wasn't expressing herself. She wasn't actually expressing what was inside of her. She was more fitting in with, you know what, this is so easy because people like the art I'm doing, and I'll suppress myself to ensure that I get money in, that I get clients in. But the life around that is not good enough.
Yeah,
we're not here to just please people. We're here to, you want to create art, create the art you want to create.
Absolutely, and the people who will come, who will be attracted to that art that you actually want to create. And I think her story is absolutely reflective of pretty much everyone who runs around people pleasing and not fulfilling the desire of what they want to do. I mean, I suppose in a sense for her, she was kind of almost there where she's doing art, but not her style of what she wanted to do. Was she bold enough to make her changes?
Yeah, she made her changes. It was incredible. in the conversation, it was like, so is there, I can't remember exactly how it led up to it, but I said, is there an elephant in the room for you? As in, like, what is the thing that's going on right now internally?
Totally.
And the look was a little bit of a look of grimace, and she'd said something like, it's not actually an elephant, if I'm honest, it's a cheetah. And she pulled up this painting of a cheetah that she'd done, and she'd created her own paints for it.
Wow.
She'd made paints from natural materials like
wow.
rocks and
Nora,
stuff.
are you listening? One of the sisters who literally helped put this whole show together, she does that as well. She's an amazing artist. She loves to make paints out of like natural beetroot. I think Nora. Beetroot was the last thing she made paint out of. It was brilliant. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah, so then, I mean, connecting her to her bravery and her meaning and like something that's internal in her. What does she want to express here to actually make a leap where it's an uncertain leap, but it's a leap where she's so much more connected to this is going to work because I love it so much. Yeah. And now you should see her art. I mean, you can scroll on the Instagram pages and
who is
see
she?
the difference.
Can you share her name, or would you prefer not to?
I haven't asked her permission, so I think
that's fine. That is absolutely fine. Maybe we can do that, and if anything, we can share it later.
Yes.
But that is brilliant. I mean, I love when people allow themselves to let their potential just push through. So as a coach, you get to see, I'm sure you get to see a lot of breakthrough moments like that. Do you have any other experiences?
Yeah, one that I was thinking actually maybe more relevant is I was working with a guy quite recently, and he was very much trapped in the overthinking. He's an amazing artist. Again, incredible artist. Like, you should see his art. It's insane. And he's struggling to sell it because he wasn't actively doing anything to sell it.
Right.
His mind was just, what will people think of me? What if I get a no?
Stuck in this cycle.
Yeah, what if I get a no? Oh, do people actually do that? Oh, maybe I shouldn't. Just all the time. I mean, he was saying he gets hardly any sleep because at night his mind's just ticking over. He doesn't sleep until 4 a.m. I think it was, to wake up like 7.
Yes,
3 hours of sleep a day.
Yeah.
Because he's so plagued with thoughts of, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know what will happen if I try.
Yes.
And in a workshop when we first met each other, I challenged him. I said, okay, man, you know what you need to do, right? I mean, we've led it up, but you know what you need to do, all of this thinking stuff. So how could you act upon it? You know, meeting him one step at a time. And then he called up a gallery.
Right.
First time ever. Hey, can I show my art at your gallery? This had been a thought that he'd thought of for ages, but never said out loud. It had just been racing around in his head for ages. And then he said it, and he's like, okay, I know I need to do it. So I believe he called 2 in the 15 minutes that I gave him in my workshop. He called 2. Now they both came back to him with a no or a we'll get back to you kind of thing.
Right, okay.
And you think, okay, well, it didn't work, right? So you'd imagine he'd be worse off, right? Because he's now put himself on the line and it didn't work out well, and it might be like, why would I do this again? His response to this was, hey, Ben, I got a no, but this is the best thing ever because now I know exactly what to do again.
Right.
And it just removed all of that overthinking. Becoming someone that's overthinking about selling your art, struggling to sell your art, to becoming someone that's actively in the process of selling art.
Absolutely.
Now, of course, that then is like a snapshot of the first half an hour. Well, it was really an hour and a half. That's a snapshot of the first hour and a half where we're interacting, and of course, only about half an hour where he's acting.
Of course.
Now, I worked with him and I invited him into a group that I'd created, and that was a 3-month group. And man, like, you should see the difference in the guy of just constantly acting, willing to change his art style, selling art, of course, in the process.
This is awesome. Selling
art, also being amongst other people, artists that he knows well, kind of, not too well, but he knows them, and inviting them to work together, to do collaborations. Hey man, we should look at this place because I think we could do a pop-up. It's like, man, where are you getting these ideas from and how are you acting like this?
This is brilliant. It's like he got on a roll.
Yeah.
So from the moment he decided to come out of his comfort zone, it just opened up his mind to different things. And I actually quite like the fact that the first time he didn't get a yes. Because for me, sometimes we actually think that because we didn't get the yes, we failed. And that's not the case. Anything, like you said, like the perfect demonstration that you said, it literally allows other things to flow to you. And it shows you that you can do this. Because half of it is, like you said, the thoughts in your mind. They're plaguing you, they're plaguing him. You don't think you can pick up the phone. Then when you actually do, the breakthrough. This is beautiful. I absolutely love it. So what made you decide, Ben, to take your message of never fitting in to the public? What made you decide that we needed to hear this?
The point of you needing to hear it is because it's just never been said.
Yes.
It's just never ever been said. It's like we need to hear it because of that. People say things like, just be yourself. By the way, don't just be yourself because that's a waste of time. That's plaguing your mind with thoughts all the time. Oh, I say to someone, oh, it's good. Just be yourself. It's like, all right, you stay stuck where you are, plaguing your mind all the time, doing the stuff thinking of the stuff you want to do rather than doing it. Don't be yourself. So this is an additional part to it. People say this, be yourself, and then glorify the idea of if you keep being yourself, you're going to fit in. Yeah, man, that's true because you're going to suppress yourself enough to be part of a group.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, Ben, can you say that again? Ben's just giving us some nuggets. Okay, Ben, you need to say that again.
Okay, I'll try my best.
Please.
Don't just be yourself, right? Don't be yourself. Being yourself, you're staying stuck. You're remaining where you are. That is the problem. You're trying to be yourself instead of exploring who you could become.
Wow.
And us just being ourselves, we suppress ourselves into groups. You know, it's our friends that tell us, just be yourself. Why? Because it supports them, right?
It's the truth. Because then they don't lose members of their groups. See, the thing, I do think, Ben, that a lot of the time, that people, when they don't see their value, others see their value. They may not see where their value is, but they know, gosh, this Ben, he's awesome. Like, his energy is amazing. We need to keep him. And I think that it's almost a point of where people are scared. Because if they let you go, that means that, oh, okay, so there's one left. Gosh, I might need to look at myself and allow myself to be. because it almost brings comfort to just have everyone, we're just sitting in this group of samety, pretending that we're happy, but we're really not.
Yeah.
Because we're not being authentic in who we want to become.
Yeah. There's the safety in fitting in. Like, again, why do people need to hear this? Because we're glorifying the idea of fitting in. You know, we're really, really glorifying it, and it needs to stop, because this is like death before life.
Yeah.
We're dying in the groups.
That is so true. And no one's really happy doing it. So what are the responses you get? Because I watched a couple of your open mic things on YouTube. Ben, how can people find you? Sorry, because we haven't given them your socials yet. So how can they find you?
The best place to find me and interact with me would be on Instagram.
Awesome.
And it's at ben.saville, Saville. Okay,
Perfect.
That's me spelling the thing.
Perfect.
And that would be the best place to find me. On Facebook, my name is my name, and that's Ben Saville. And on LinkedIn too. I post quite a lot on LinkedIn.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So these things are great. So actually, you know, it's good for you to follow me, to interact with my content. Of course, I love that. But, you know, make this more of an experience. Like, get yourself diving into what I'm saying. Every fortnight, today, actually, I run a workshop around this message. I hope you never fit in.
Brilliant. How can people access it?
So that's on Eventbrite. So again,
awesome.
The best place, I mean, go on Eventbrite and just hammer those letters into your keyboard. I hope you never fit in.
That's
right?
fabulous.
So you can find it there. Of course, the link's on my Instagram too. But I want people to be engaged in this. I want to build a community.
Absolutely.
Like, a big part of what I want to do in my life is build a community where it's unconditional love for self-expression. And that's really what we get to tap into in this hour workshop. It's on today at 7 p.m. It's online.
Brilliant.
At the moment it's online. You know, I'm waiting for some in-person stuff too. So you know, that's going to happen. But this hour, it just allows you to tap in deeper to, you know, who you want to be, like to really have a direction, a clearer, braver direction of the life you want to lead. And with that, you know, you can use that to go outside of your comfort zones. It's so much easier when you're clearer and braver on the direction you want to take in your life. And then I break it down. So we get clear on that as a direction, and then I support people. Right, so what are you going to do about this? What kind of things are going to be scary that are in your way? And then we start to explore them a bit more and get a bit more clearer on them and be able to grasp with them. So definitely follow me on Instagram and all the other places I said, but, you know, make the most of this, like make the most of this opportunity to never fit in, to never need to fit in, to never need to just be yourself, stuck in the places that you don't want to be stuck.
Beautiful, Ben. We're going to play a song in a moment, but I just want to ask you, so when you've given out your talks, your workshops, what are your responses from people?
Yeah.
How do they respond to the message?
So you asked me about open mics, which is the most raw one, right?
Okay, cool.
Because in the open mics, I'm going to open mics where people are playing music, predominantly. I mean, all of them is just music. And I ask if I can deliver, if I can just talk.
Okay, cool.
And, you know, it's hit and miss, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hit and miss because this isn't a message that people always want to hear. I hope you never fit in. People are like, whoa, man, like, you know, ease up on that because I really like fitting in. And it's like,
I'm comfortable here.
So stop messing and stop playing.
I think I'm comfortable here, maybe I should say. I think I'm comfortable here.
Yeah, it's a better way to address it. I think I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable in not knowing what else is out there for me.
That is the truth.
And obviously some people don't like it. I'm going to some pubs at times and it's like, yeah, man, people that are there to drink their lives away, really. And unfortunately, but you know, I like to interact when I bomb. When I bomb on stage, I like to follow people up with it, and I say I'm before every open mic, I say to myself, if I bomb, I bomb. This is the most important thing because it means I have courage. I'm going to say what I need to say. If externally it's received badly, internally I'm going to share it as best as I can. Anyway, so in a recent one, followed the rubble of that bombing. I followed it out of the door as people had walked out on me as I was speaking. And I asked them, like, hey, do you like it? And they were like, yeah, I mean, it was a bit preachy at times. And yeah, you're kind of probably in the wrong crowd. And I was like, oh, cool, yeah, well, thanks for sharing that. What did you take from it? And then them opening up a lot more, like under the surface, like, oh, I didn't want you to take me to this place.
Yes.
But then realising, yeah, well, I guess there's a lot of missed opportunities that I've had in my life.
Yes.
And realising this. So even if they have that that thing that happens, that's awesome. But, of course, I do want to talk about the times when it goes amazingly well.
Yeah, of course.
When it goes amazingly well, it's people running after me at the end of an open mic and saying, hey, I needed to hear that today.
Yeah.
Because
that reminder.
Something will be coming up in their life, like really struggling in their friendship groups, or people coming up to me and saying that they feel this certain rush to make decisions, like to become parent is one, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Like, or to get married.
Yeah, of course.
This was two things that a lady had run after me to say, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we were addressing the fact that you feel rushed about those things, because those are not places for you to be rushing to have a kid.
Absolutely.
Right? Rushing to spend your life with someone, it's like, no, you're right. Like, you stay connected to what's most important to you, and the external world is not going to matter as much. And people just to connect to, like, yeah, okay, all the things that are weird about me are the things that make me so beautiful.
Absolutely.
And I think this is so important. I mean, there's people out there that even just take something from me not fitting in those situations, me going up on stage, speaking when everyone else is doing music, and like, whoa, man, that takes some bravery.
Yes, it does.
And maybe there's ways in which I could be braver in my singing or my presenting of things, because people do get on stage and they're a bit stiff and they're not.
It's the truth.
And it's like, be someone else next time, you know?
I love that. We are going to listen to Righteous Woman and a Righteous Man by the sounds of the amazing Jackie Carby. And join us after, where we will be joined with Ben as we continue to talk about the importance of never fitting in. So, I don't know if you want to. This song's 3 minutes. You could set up your tripod if you can do it in 3 minutes for the last half.
It's sort of good like that.
Yeah, is that cool?
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Good.
Good.
Yeah. Definitely like flowing into it a bit more as well.
You're doing great. You're doing amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great
Let me take a picture of you and then I can send it to you so you can have it. Maybe next to the radio. Sign, please. Got great energy there. So we're going to be having a fun day. So on the 30th of July, a Real Sisterhood is going to be having their first ever summertime festival. We're really excited about it. We're going to be here because this is actually a market. So downstairs, normally they have like their foods and wares and everything available and open. So then we're going to be having it on the day that everything is open downstairs. And then upstairs, we're going to be having all our musicians, and we've got a book signing that's going to be going on, and we're going to be interviewing people throughout the day. So we're going to be on air from 9 a.m. till 5. So if you'd like to pop in that day, that would be great. We're available the 30th of July.
Oh,
It's
cool.
a Saturday. So have a think about it.
I know I won't be available.
All right, no problem. No, that's
sucks.
fine. That is fine. It would be so good. But if anything changes, you're so welcome. Like, totally welcome. And if there's anything we can shout out for you, just let us know.
Nice, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Cool. Yeah, maybe I could. There might be some ways that I can help, like bring some art pieces. I hope you never get some art pieces.
And you could possibly sell them. So that would be brilliant if you're available. So we're going to be here from like 8, setting up and stuff. People who are going to be in this area will probably start arriving from 9. So we can talk about it more near closer to the day, but you would be more than welcome to bring your art stuff. It'll be a beautiful day.
Yeah, of
Amazing
course.
people coming in. And And there's going to be some different coaches coming in as well, so you'll get to meet our team of coaches too. Because I have some coaches in a real sisters where they come together and they give advice to the local community and stuff, and they always do really well. And we're actually looking for male coaches. We don't have any.
Cool.
So, like, this is a brilliant opportunity for me to This is why it's important to just be more than yourself, right?
Yeah.
And to just speak up. So this is great.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd love to.
Oh, sorry, Ben. I apologise. The sounds of Jackie Carby, righteous woman and a righteous man. I was having a really good chat with Ben in the break just now. So we're going to move. We nearly missed the slot. So we're going to move on to the next question. We asked you how the message is being received, and you shared some pretty cool testimonials of people from the negative to the positive. But I actually think, I was just thinking as well about people that say this is the wrong crowd, right? For me, that's like, no, mate, this is the right crowd. This is the right crowd.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're almost a mirror. Like you're just holding a mirror at them saying, wake up a little.
Yeah.
Because when you mention that, you know, in the beginning, they say rock crowd, and then they start to speak, you can, I don't know, but normally when that type of thing happens to me, I can feel that they were bursting to kind of let that out, that they weren't in the right spaces to do it. So here you come and hold a mirror. I mean, that to me, I love that stuff.
It's a really,
I love it.
I just love that you mentioned that and like almost, like brought that up, because those moments are really tough. Like no matter how much I can bring to them, no matter how much of my bravery I can bring to those moments, it's hard to sometimes see through it. It's like, yeah, I know you don't want to hear this, but that's the reason why you need to hear it the most. The people that don't want to hear it often need to hear it the most, and it is hard to be in those crowds and to be on stage and people. I do interaction pieces on it, and I know people aren't interacting because it's obvious, right? You can see,
totally,
and that's tough. But it's like for them for something maybe to click here, and the reason why it doesn't work for that group is, you know, quite obviously because they're fitting in. Because how can it not work for one person in the group? And how can it not work for all of the group is actually my deeper question. Like, everyone needs to hear it.
Yeah, totally.
But the only reason you didn't grab someone and share something really meaningful and share the direction you want your life to take, or share something really scary about your life, something you're really scared of in your life, like these meaningful conversations, is because it's safer to talk on the surface level. It's easier for us to meet up at the pub and have the same conversation we had every single day.
You are speaking to the choir. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. It's like people need some meat in their words. They need something that they can just really chew on, because this comfortability in the fluff, then it really never brings any true comfort or true healing, I suppose.
Well, it's a massive regret when we start to get older. It's Bronnie Ware, who's an author, and her book is The 5 Biggest Regrets of the Dying, and the biggest regret, number one, is I regret living a life that wasn't true to my own.
Could you say that book, the name of that book again?
Yeah, it's The 5 Biggest Regrets of the Dying. Yeah, and the one that
Get
really...
this book, people.
Yeah.
I've read it, I've listened to it. It's a good book.
Yeah, and I mean, her speaking, she actually interacted, she was a nurse, a palliative nurse, caring for people that were dying, who were dying, you know, they're soon to be dying, and asking them that really painful question, you know, someone that's dying and you want to learn from them, what is the biggest regrets that you have? And the biggest one was, I lived a life that wasn't true to my own. Imagine that, coming to the end of your life and having never lived a life that was true to your own. Like, what the hell are we doing, and how much more do we have to give to life if we actually tried to give something?
This is, for me, this rings very true to me, and it's not something that makes me emotional now, but I take it as a very massive learning lesson. I've spoken about this on the show before. When my mother was passing away, one of the things that she said was, I've wasted too much time. And that for me was just a massive catapult it was such a watching her and seeing her. It kind of was like me seeing myself in a way. I was on my journey doing the things that I know that I had to do, but it was just like a kick to make sure I do it. And I think what we as humanity do is we take for granted the breath that we have and how long we're going to be here. And then we waste time, like you mentioned earlier on, we're, getting drunk, or we're doing all these surfacey, fluffy things rather than the true calling of our heart. And I love when you spoke earlier on and you said that when you're getting drunk or you're taking whatever drug, it kind of just masks everything that you actually want to do. And I feel that our society really needs a revival, really needs awakening to say, hey, you're okay. Like, you're going to change all the time. Like what you said, you're never fitting in. You won't fit, you may fit in for a moment and then you'll move on to the next moment and the next moment and the next moment. So therefore you're always evolving. That's why I love your message. And please, respectfully, the fact that it's coming from such a young man, I think it is so valuable, especially to our younger people of the community. They need to hear this and know that it's okay to be themselves. It's almost been like, I'm giving you permission. I'm not that I need to give you permission, but maybe you need an awakening. Just a little something to say, hey, do this. You can do it, it's fine. Whatever's in you, you need it. And that for me, when I heard your message, and I looked at your videos, I connected with you so strongly because it is so, so important. And those of us that know and are bold enough to say so, those that don't yet know need to hear us. And they need to allow themselves. They may not understand that they need to know. They're like you said, the guy, this is the wrong crowd, mate. And then the next thing, he's like, bleh, revealing all these things. Those that need to know, they need to know even more. I'm actually going to encourage you. So I don't know if you know, down the road from here, there is the Hackney Theatre. So there's a bar at the bottom where they have open mic.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Yes. And the whole time you're speaking, like, it's such a cool vibe. They play piano and everything in there. It's brilliant. And they have an eclectic mix of people, which I love. And I think maybe that is something for you to think about in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to ask you actually about all open mics in this particular area. This
definitely.
Is such a lovely space for it.
It's an amazing. I can point you in so many brilliant directions, and people will love you. They'll receive, even if they don't know they need it, they will receive it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're going to receive it.
They're going to receive it. So, okay. So, this might be a heavy question, but I don't think it will be heavy for you. What do you feel the purpose of your life is in this moment?
Ooh, good question. It's good that we're getting to real life.
Yeah, like real. Let's go to the meat.
What is my calling in life is, okay, so of course this message, I hope you never fit in. Not for it to just be heard as a message for people, not for it to just be heard as a hope, but for it to be experienced as an experience. And I want millions of people to have experienced this. This is very, very important, like to build and to shift communities around my message.
100%.
And it's scary to say, maybe we're not allowed to say it, but I want to change the world.
But say this. Listen, Kanika, can you hear what Ben just said? We say this stuff all the time in our meetings. We want to make a difference. Like, we're talking big things here. What's the point in dreaming small? Sorry, I kind of feel like Avengers Assemble. Those of you that are listening out there that want to change the world, send Ben a DM.
Yeah.
Send me a DM. We're ready. Like, this is important.
Yeah, and I really don't say it lightly because, change the world. I feel like there's a part of me that's doing it because there's moments, change the world, you really have to just encourage one person sometimes. One person on a really deep level. Of course, I want, as I said, thousands, millions of people directly affected by me.
Yes.
But this is just so important. You said that you'd come across my work because of your friend Charlotte had
Yes.
seen me. Now, the bit that we missed out in that was because I'm walking around with a sign in Shoreditch saying,
Yeah,
I hope you never fit in. Actually, it was in Covent Garden when I met your friend.
That's right.
But often in places like Shoreditch. Now, opening people up to this conversation, they're like, oh, this is a beautiful message. This is what I needed to hear today. And then I ask people if they want to go a little bit further with that. Like, why? Like, for you, why?
Yeah.
Not for me, why? But for you, why? And then having people open up in 10 minutes because we're going to something that's a painful moment in their life where they felt that they had to fit in from this point forward because someone had been so ruthless in their approach to them. So, for example, one that stands out to me recently is a girl that had grown up in south of Italy, and that was important to her because it was a very small village. That's really more important than the overall location. But she wanted to be a writer, this girl, and she didn't tell anyone. But every day she would be writing this book, this small book for herself. Every single day, going home after school to write it, to read it, to write, read, edit, just to be in the book.
Yeah.
And then she shared it with her mum, and her mum just hated it. She just hated it. She said, why are you doing this? You're never going to be published. Make sure people don't see it.
Oh, Lord.
Imagine that, growing up and being that child. And she expressed this to me, and it felt like it might have been the first time she's ever expressed it, in the fact that it was so emotive. There were moments where she was not sure if she should go there or not and say it. And then she started to just by herself really piece together other moments that are reflective of that, where she's carried out almost the same patterns, where she's been so scared of someone's response when they've responded badly, that she's like, oh, actually, you are the advocate for the entire world right now, and I shouldn't do that. I should actually just fit in with what you think because it's safer, and I'm not going to pursue things like journalism, what she spoke about. Right. And it's like, okay, her connecting back to that, her connecting to the fact that it was other people scared of her standing out. Yeah. It was other people, one person at a time who didn't like what she was doing, and she found safety in impressing them instead. Yes. Right? But then all of the life that was between those moments and after those moments was her own depression, her own suppression of who she wants to be. You know, you start suppressing who you want to be, you start suppressing all these creative avenues you want to take in your life. Trust me, you're going to get depressed. Definitely. And that's what she's expressing. Suppression in those times turns to depression, 100%. So us getting close to that, us grappling with it for just 10, 15 minutes, I think that was life-changing for her. Yes. Maybe in a small way, and maybe for us to bring more attention to again in the future. I have reached out to her, and we'll see where that goes. But those moments there, right? Those moments where people are like, okay, I've realised the pain that I experienced. Number one, I'm not going to repeat that onto my children. Yes. This changes the world, right? When someone gets so connected to the fact that their parents cause so much pain for them that they're not going to do it to someone else. Yeah. This changes the world. Now, you ask me, like, what's my calling here? Imagine if I do this on an extent where I'm speaking to millions of people and having just that 10 minutes, that 10-minute effect on everyone. Yes. What is the next generation going to look like? The next generation are going to look like creative, expressive individuals.
This is amazing. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm loving this.
I appreciate it.
This is awesome. And this just shows the part we all have to play, in the sense of if we don't allow ourselves to let our creativity grow and unfold into the true version of who we are to become, we are literally almost not allowing it for others. Absolutely, you know, it's a ripple effect. You know, when you have the dominoes and you click one and they all fall down. This is the type of thing that we need to be doing. Standing up. The Italian girl who showed her mum the book, and her mum was not impressed by the book. For me, that represents I didn't get to do what I wanted to do for some reason or another. What I have learned over the years in my life is that people only act in that type of way when they haven't allowed themselves to do what they want to do. It's not about making excuses for them. It's actually about, this is why it's so important for you to listen to your innermost being, to allow your calling to unfold. Because if you don't, you will become bitter. You will become, if anything, an obstacle to those who are coming after you. And then you project that same negativity that you're withholding, and it kind of stops them from growing and, you know, transforming into the butterfly, so to speak. So this is why it's so important for us to listen to those things that we want to do. I really believe, Ben, that we all come here with a purpose. I don't believe we're all here by chance. And I know that this isn't everybody's way of thinking. But I believe that once we hit Earth, there's something for us to do. And that thing that we have to do is almost like an unleashing.
That's what we need to do, just unleash ourselves.
That is it. That is it. And the more we do it, I tell you, the more I stand in my truth, the amount of people that come up to me and start to speak to me about little things, it surprises me. Because I would look and think maybe they're living their lives, but really, they're not really authentically living their lives. They are doing what that beautiful Italian girl's doing, which is trying to please. So you're constantly living a life trying to please a soul that is trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. So everybody's in a cycle of just trying to please. Who's ever really been?
Yeah.
This life is far more blessed if we allow ourselves to become. And the message that you are shouting is so valuable. Even those that are not hearing and are walking past you when you're saying, I hope you never fit in, they're hearing you. They're hearing you. You may not think they are, but they are.
Yeah, the very interesting thing is I've gone out before with my uncle, who supports me in this.
Okay.
A lot.
Hello, Uncle. Do you want to give him a shout out?
His name's David Saville, and he has created invisible coaching. So for coaches out there, this is an amazing
Fantastic. Check him out, David Saville. Check him out, people.
Yes, I mean, he definitely encouraged a lot of this to come out of me, you know, the encouragement that I'm trying to give to others. He created this, and then think about the way that I can spread it to others as a result, right?
Absolutely.
But he'll come out with me sometimes as I'm holding my sign in Shoreditch, and he fed something back to me. He's like, man, you don't realise how many people you're affecting because you're walking past them. Obviously, you're walking in a different direction, and it takes them a second to clock on to what you've just said.
That's right.
And some people are like interacting with their friends about it. Yeah, I agree with it to some extent. What do you think? And they're actually having this conversation about never fitting in now.
That's right.
And like one person will share it from one perspective and another, and then they're coming to a realization without me needing to be there.
Yeah.
And then other people smiling after, because there's that kind of sense of relief of like, if I smile at this guy, he's going to come over and tell me about something that I don't have time to hear.
I can so relate. I can so relate. But no, what your uncle said, it's true. It's but a moment. So earlier on in the show, when I gave my beloved reflections, it was every step you take leaves a residue. Let it be a good one. You know, let it be a blessing. When you're walking past and you're holding up your sign and someone's seen it and it sparked a convo, they're not going to forget it. And that is, sometimes that is all that soul may need. You know, and there's ones that need a little bit more. That's why you're having the conversations with them. But your sparking matches, I love it. It's brilliant. So, okay, why do you think, Ben, what is the fear? What is the fear within the person that actually stops them from stepping? So what is the fear that stops them from listening? What do you think that is? Is there anything that you've come across in the conversations that you've had with people that seems to be common thread?
So the fear that stops them listening to me and being receptive.
Sorry, I apologise. The fear that stops them listening to themselves.
Ah, right.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's different for everyone. It's a fear, like a fear in our belly, like it's an emotional fear, right? I mean, it's the twists and the turns of our stomach, it's the wobbling knees, it's the pacing and the very quick thoughts that get us out of there.
Yes.
I mean, it's a fear of so many things, and I think realistically, it's just a fear, right? I mean, it's a fear, it's an anxiety, but it is quite a necessary fear. Like, we have these fears for a reason, and the reason we have these fears is a very like evolutionary one that we don't really need so much now, I would say. You know, if we were in a group and as more animalistic people, there's a lot of safety in this, and there is a lot of safety in groups now.
Yes.
But of course, back then, when we need to be in a group, need to be in a group. If we're not accepted in a group, we're kicked out of the group and we're led to die. You know, that's what happens, right?
That's right.
So that fear that you're feeling is necessary. It's not like, oh man, just don't feel it or just ignore the fear. No, feel it, like experience it. Let the knots in your stomach be there. But let them be guiding now, because we're not monkeys, you know?
That's the truth.
Right? We're not.
That's
so
the truth.
We don't need to be in groups. When you see that kind of dynamic, you see a weak animal gets kicked out of the group. An animal that stands out is likely to attract a predator, right?
Right.
Now, if I'm in a group, if say there's a big group of us, or even just the two of us,
yes,
and I'm wearing something really flamboyant, and maybe it's not the kind of area to be wearing something flamboyant.
Yeah.
Or I'm going up to loads of people and talking to them, and you're like, whoa, man, like, you know, you should probably fit in with what I'm doing. Like, let's wear the black and the hoodies and the black hoodies and everything. Like this, it might cause fear for you, because now the attention's on our group, and that's a bit of a problem, right? So that's why people want us to fit in, because if we stand out, there's a predator that might happen, right? And we're in a group.
Perfect analogy.
But the thing is, this stops us because it's innate and it's meant to happen and it's real. There's no looking over it. It's real. The fears are real. They're not imaginary things. They really are there. But they stop us, and that's the problem. It's like, what you asked me the question of what are the fears that stop us? It's like, well, I guess it's just us not being connected enough to why we're doing this. Like, we need to really be real with ourselves. Like, that's the reason it stops us. If we're feeling all of these feelings, these knots in our stomach and the pacing of thoughts and the shortness of breath and the wobbly knees in situations we have no need or no reason, and we haven't connected to anything bigger, there's no point going there. So don't go there, you know?
Yeah.
Don't step into it. But when it's connected to, like I said, the thousands of people in a community, the millions of people in a community, the millions of people that I'm supporting, the bigger wants that I want in my life, like to get a name for myself. You know, earlier I was speaking about Banksy, Picasso, William Shakespeare. I want to get a name for myself. So those moments of knotted stomach and wobbly knees and shortness of breath, they're not so bad now, are they? Because they're more like a signal of, hey man, you're stepping towards something. Mm-hmm. And I think we've got that all mixed up, where it's a question that I like to ask: is it strange to feel strange? Well, when you're connected to something so much bigger in your life, what you really want to create, what's really important to you, ensuring that you're a good role model for the people that are around you in the way that you said too. Those knots in the stomach, they shouldn't really stop us so much, because it's like, hey, you feel it, you're like, whoa, I'm here, something cool is happening. I feel strange because I'm about to meet a stranger inside of myself. That's the way I see it. Someone that's different, someone that isn't just myself, someone that's actually capable now, or a little more capable at least, of having communities of thousands of people. So a big problem is we do not connect to the big meanings of our life, what we really want to get to, because that is in itself very scary. For me to say on a radio station, hey, I want to have thousands of people in a community, I want to support millions of people, I want to change the world in some way. Now I've created success or failure for myself. If it doesn't happen, I'm a failure. If I create it, I'm successful, right? I've created this thing for myself to stay accountable to. we don't do that because that's scary. What if you fall short, man? What if you don't get there?
This is the truth.
So we don't
this
even
is
create.
the truth.
We don't even create these meaningful things. So then, when we haven't created that meaningful, this big thing that we want to do, when we're really, really honest with ourselves and really, really courageous in that kind of honesty, man, those knots in the stomach, the pacing of thoughts, the wobbly knees, they are going to feel bigger than you, because why would you go through that pain if you didn't have a bigger purpose? So that's why I think connecting people to the reason why they want to do something, that's often what needs to happen for us to go through all of that pain, those wobbly knees, to get to somewhere, the twists in our stomach. That's what got me to being up on an open mic, because I connected to all of those meanings. When I'm standing there, I'm sweating, I'm guzzling water, my knees are wobbling, I'm thinking, how the hell do I get out of here?
Yes.
Why are you here? For what good reason? What's your escape route? And then just a moment of pause, but is it strange for me to feel strange right now? All of these feelings in my belly and my head and my knees, they're kind of just telling me, oh, you're going in the right direction, man. Rather than, this is weird and I don't know what I'm doing.
I love that.
So it's not strange to feel strange, but we kind of have this idea that, I feel strange right now, so I probably shouldn't do it.
Yes.
We need to sort of rewire ourselves in these moments. And the best way to do it, I believe, is to know where we want to get to.
Absolutely. And I love the way you explain those knots in the belly. Those are actually confirmations of you going in the right direction.
Absolutely.
That is beautiful. Getting that message out to young people, or to all people, it sounds paramount to me.
Absolutely.
Because we get so confused with those feelings. So the awakening and understanding of this is just, your body's natural way of letting you know that you're going in the right direction. How did that come about for you? How did you understand that? How did you make that picture?
I mean, that picture really happened because I was stepping up to an open mic in the way that I described it. Of course, there's other ways, other times that it happened, many other times. Yeah. But like in that first time stepping up to an open mic and really psyching myself in and out of this amazing experience, because loads of people are playing music, and as more people are playing music, I'm like, well, why am I here? Because I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to speak. And I've met some friends now. I've met some people that I connect with, and I'm at a big risk of fitting in with them.
Oh no, never! Yeah, I'm with you.
So I'm there, I'm fitting in with these guys, I'm getting on with them and we're connecting and it's great, and it's a great connection that I've built with these new people. But then there's a calling to go a bit further than that, and for me to actually show who I am. So in that moment of, okay, cool, I know what's happening here. As I said, I'm at risk now of fitting in with them, blending into the crowd and not getting onto this open mic, not stepping forward into that. Stepping out of that situation for a moment and being like, right, okay, what am I walking towards? I'm walking towards having deeper connections with these people, actually, because I'm going to risk something. I'm going to share who I actually am, rather than, I've got this idea, or one day I would like to be this person, or maybe even just pleasing them with things that they want me to hit, that they want to hear. Me stepping towards it and being like, right, okay, if I get on this mic and I deliver as best as I can, these people are really going to know who I am. These people are really going to understand who I am. I can make a difference in the world. These people are going to know who I am, but way, way, way more importantly than this, me doing this, me stepping onto this open mic, I'm going to know who I am.
That doesn't deserve a round of applause. It's like everybody wins, you better get on the mic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to know who I am.
Absolutely.
That's one of the biggest problems when we're fitting in all the time. It's not so much, it's all an internal thing. We stop knowing who we are. Like that voice of attaching meaning to our lives and saying something bigger. That starts to get drowned away because we're fitting in. We stop using our voice and we start to lose our voice. So I didn't want that to happen.
Absolutely.
Very important. I step on that open mic and ensure I use my voice right now. If I bomb, I bomb, right?
Right. Did we ever bomb?
Sometimes, yeah, we got quite right.
Oh my gosh, people, we are having such a good time in the studio. Next, we're going to be listening to the sounds of Mr. Jordan V, and then we're going to be coming back to talk to Ben Seville. So make sure that you are listening to get yourself a glass of water, a cup of tea, or a coffee. I think a coffee would be best. Cool.
Hope you're enjoying my tangents.
I'm loving it. You are great conversation.
Thank you.
Seriously, you are easy to talk to. This is brilliant. I like before shows, I try not to communicate too much with guests, especially if I really like them. The reason is we end up talking a lot about what they're going to do, and I want everything to be so authentic when we come here. The conversation is brilliant.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that as well. Like, say for example, I speak to someone in a group about an idea, and then later, I speak to someone one-to-one about an idea, and then we're in a group. Of course, I can support 4 or 5 more people in the group by saying the same thing I said to that person. But there's always like a hesitation, or like, maybe I should say this in a different way, so the way it really worked before.
Totally.
Which I think is good sometimes to grasp an idea, but when it worked so well to share it that way, and then to just freestyle it another time, sometimes that's an issue. Like you already know what I'm saying, so when I say it, it's like, wow, there's loads of people listening. So
Absolutely.
you probably should.
Absolutely. Oh man, I love this. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay, this is good. This is you're needed. You're definitely needed. Definitely needed. Especially for young men. Oh my god. Yeah. Your mum must be proud. I hope I'm not saying anything I'm untoward, but your mum must be so proud.
My mum sent me a message the other day which meant a lot, and it was only a small message, but she'd seen one of my open mics and it was just wow. She went to elaborate, but it's like, man, these moments of joy when my mum gets to appreciate what I'm doing, because it's so weird and it's so scary for her, really, because it is so strange. And it's scary for other people, like we've said, right?
We've got 15 seconds. Of course. We're going to talk about happiness.
Okay, sure.
The sounds of Mr. Jordan V. For those of you that have not yet supported him via Instagram, please go along to his page at Mr. Jordan V. And also on iTunes. His tunes are on iTunes, Mixcloud, all of that stuff. So make sure you're going and spreading the love and letting him know where you heard his tunes. Right now, in the studio, here at Real Sisterhood, I am joined by the magnificent Ben Seville. Welcome, welcome. To those of you who have just joined us in the studio, you will get to hear our show repeated on Mixcloud a little later, but I'm just going to ask you, Ben, to share your socials just one more time so people can connect with you, please.
Yeah, sure. So, on social media, Instagram is the best place really to go for real good interaction there. It's at ben.saville. So ben.saville. Now, if you like Facebook, I'm on Facebook with that same name, Ben Saville. I'm on LinkedIn with that same name too. But as I mentioned earlier, and as you may have missed, there's an event today which is about my message, I hope you never fit in. So connecting with me, engaging with my content, this is great, but I want people to make this as a real experience and really let's sink our teeth into this idea of I hope you never fit in. Let's get stronger, let's get clearer, let's get braver on the direction we most want to take in our life. So today, that's happening. That's on Eventbrite. I hope you never fit in. And again, I mean, the link's on my Instagram too. But yeah,
What time's this event?
This is at 7 p.m. today.
Fantastic.
7 p.m. online today.
Fantastic. Please, people, go join in and spread the word.
Yeah.
Ben, happiness.
Happiness, yeah, let's dive in.
Happiness, let's go there. What does it mean to you?
Oh, happiness. What does it mean? Yeah, I mean, happiness is the joy of life, right? I mean, happiness is the smiling, the moments of being proud. Happiness is, it's just when everything's real good, right?
Absolutely.
Happiness is happiness comes from doing a lot of good things.
Absolutely.
A lot of the time. Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel it's almost like not almost like, that's wrong. It is a joy to spread because there's so much adversity and people are facing a lot right now. And sometimes I think they find it hard to see it in the day-to-day.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah? And I'm sure at your events and in your day-to-day life you come across people who just can't find it. How do you encourage people
Yeah, cool.
to unfold it a little bit more in their life?
Nice. This is a really good question because it may seem like I'm one of those people that you spoke about, right? Struggling to see it in the everyday.
Yeah.
That, if I'm being really real, I do struggle with that. I do struggle, like, just not to grab those moments that are so joyful and so beautiful. And I'm not sure why, but sometimes that happens. Now, that doesn't mean that I haven't got better at it. I've got a lot better at it. And one thing that I think is very important is, actually, this is what I would say. This, right now, is the greatest moment of your life.
Yes. Oh, gosh. Ben is speaking my language. I love it.
This is the greatest moment of your life, and you're probably off somewhere missing it. That's the problem. That's why we're not experiencing the happiness and the joy, like the tiny things.
This is golden.
Like, to really be here, to really be present in this moment. Like, to look at you right now, like the smiling face, the twinkling of your eyes. These are all joyful moments.
That's right.
But sometimes we're clouded in seeing it, we're clouded in saying it, we're clouded in going there.
Right, rather than experiencing it.
Just like right now is the greatest moment of your life.
Yeah.
The past is the past, the future hasn't happened yet, right?
That's right.
So we have one thing to appreciate right now, and that's right now, it's the
That's
present
right.
moment. This moment is the greatest moment of your life. Let it all sink in.
Absolutely.
It might not even be happiness necessarily that you find in that moment, but you're going to be here and realise that you're alive. And from that place, there is gratefulness.
That's
like,
right.
Look, man, I'm alive
It's
right now.
so true.
Everything's good.
It's so true.
Just to take a pause.
Yeah.
Because we need to do that sometimes.
Absolutely. Take a deep breath and just feel it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And to go where sometimes it's hard to go to, in that moment of what is most beautiful now. Like, to interact with that. Maybe you're with someone and there's something that needs to be said. There's something that you want to express, but we're holding back and we're suppressing again. We're getting into that thing of suppressing and not saying something really nice to someone.
Absolutely.
And it just causes this, like, I didn't say it and I could have, and we're not really going far enough with appreciation.
Yeah.
We're not going far enough with saying, hey, I really love how you look in this, or I really appreciate what you did for me today. And that brings a lot of joy. That brings a lot of happiness. Like, if we intend to provide happiness to someone, we're the one that's holding the happiness for the majority of that, and maybe for all of it, because we need to connect to happiness inside of ourselves to try and give it to someone else. So this is a really good practice, a really good thing to do. Look for things that make us feel happy and express it.
I love that. Look for things. And there's always something.
We don't even need to look. Maybe that's like, we just need to open our eyes a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Even in the worst day, there's always something. That's it. I always, there's been some days when you feel like you can't see anything. And like you said, you appreciate the moment you stop and you breathe. You remember the breath is there. The purpose is not yet done.
Yeah. We need to know as well the things that do make us happy and just be clear on them and ensure that we're bringing more of that into our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, when you do your open mic nights, do you have a mixture of ages in the crowd, so to speak?
So just to be clear, I've done this now for 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
I've done 7 of them.
Okay.
So it's not a massive...
But that's pretty big though, 7 of them in 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, I like to...
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So,
that's brilliant.
So there's definitely been a range of audiences.
Yes.
For sure. I would say most of the open mics that I've gone to, and most of the people that go further with my message, I would say is like a... Actually, I don't know. It's really a mix. It is really a mix, but I would say a lot of the people are around 25, maybe 25-ish, maybe a little bit younger, 23 to about 38.
Okay.
I'm just guessing, actually.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably quite a decent range of the people that I speak to and that open mics.
Okay. So Ben, how can people support the cause? Do you have, I don't know, do you have a GoFundMe? Do you have, how can people get involved? Maybe just bring more energy to what you're doing. How can they do that?
Yeah, I mean, of course, any kinds of sharing of this message is important.
Absolutely.
Any kind of participation in this message is needed and necessary. So I think the biggest way that people can support me really is, of course, there's the stuff like social media, engage in that, share it with your friends.
Absolutely.
Share it with people that need to hear it. This is one of the most beautiful things that I've experienced. For example, I'm going out with my sign and people are like, hey, can I take a photo? I want to send this to my brother, my sister, my friend, because they really need to hear this today. So I think, first of all, we need to just spread the message. I hope you never fit in. Just encourage people there. Now, more directly with the work that I'm doing, sign up to my Eventbrites.
Yeah.
I've got my event coming up today at 7 p.m.
Yes.
It's online. It's the link on my Instagram.
Check
I
it out,
hope you never fit in an event on Eventbrite. Now, also, if it's like you like the concept, you're not sure if you can come to the event, or you don't like a certain aspect of it, whatever it is, that's not quite for you. Let me know. Just simply let me know, because I'm just getting started with this stuff, right?
I hear you.
So there's going to be a lot more things coming up. Now, there might be other ways that I can support you with this work, but you getting involved in it, you being a part of the community, you sharing it with people, you having a part, you taking a part of this message and using it, that's massive. That's huge. I mean, following me on my Instagram, I'm definitely going to post where I'm going to be on open mics too. There's support there.
Brilliant.
But at the moment, really, it's these Eventbrite things. I want to get people involved in it. I want to get more and more people coming regularly to them. And I have a group coaching program that's going to be starting in August.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's similar. Well, it's very similar. Of course, developed from what I'd shared before, where I'm in a group, coaching a group on a regular basis over 3 months.
Okay.
And the outcomes of that are, for example, no more of this overthinking. Like, oh, I'm really struggling to sell my art or to sell my work or to get my name out there, to get to this level that I want to get to, and I'm overthinking about it a lot. Well, the change for one person in particular was way less thinking, way less overthinking, just action. Just taking action, actually taking the steps to sell the art, actually selling the art, actually creating new experiences. So this happens in a group where there's more than one of us and we're each following our own journey, but of course when we boil it down, everyone's battling with the same kind of stuff inside of themselves and everyone branches off in their different ways. Now, someone else that was in the group, I mean, there's so much juice to it, but one thing was her fear of really standing out.
Being seen almost, right?
Standing out.
Yeah.
Being the centre of attention was her phrase. I'm scared to be the centre of attention. But as a result of that, she created a workshop called The Centre of Attention. Literally, what are you scared of? Being the centre of attention. Okay, how can we challenge that? I think I should put on a workshop that is called The Centre of Attention. And then
she flipped it.
Flipped it. She's doing marketing, so it's like, wow, you need to be the centre of attention, really, and be willing to own that.
This is awesome.
So she created workshops for that as a result, right? So people came to her workshops, business got a hell of a lot better, started really connecting to the things that she wants to do. So it's not just marketing in a general sense, it's wanting to be part of theatre productions. Okay, cool. So what happens as a result of being in this group? Getting loads more opportunities and experiences to be a part of a theatre production, being part of pantomimes, actually even being involved in the costume design. Like weird experiences that you wouldn't just guess. Like we're not just going to say, oh, maybe this will happen. It's no.
Yes.
As I said a lot earlier, don't be yourself. It's not going to follow a nice, easy line of, okay, I'm going to support you to be the person you've been. I'm going to support you to be everything you want to be. And that's the result of the group. So this is a mutual thing. If people want to be involved in this message, I want people to grab it with everything they can. Be part of the communities because, yeah, it's nice for you to support me. It's very, very meaningful. It means the world. But then you come into this group and you start supporting other people that need that message. Let's talk about that because that magnifies everything that I can achieve. You take some of what I've said, you've shared it, you've used it in your life, you've struggled with it, you've done well with it. We can develop from there, right? Because you've acted, and that's the most incredible thing that you can do. And then what's that going to do to someone else? What's that going to do for your children? What's that going to do for your siblings? What's that going to do for your friends? What's that going to do for this community that I want to build? That's the kind of encouragement that I want. I want people to grapple with my message and come back to me and be like, hey Ben, this worked, this didn't work, where should I go from here? Let's engage. Otherwise it's way too surface level for anything to happen.
Let it mean something.
Let it really sink into your bones.
I love this. I'm so excited. We're going to be listening to the sounds of Miss Jackie Carby, Woman That I Am. This is brilliant. I can't believe we're nearly done. I can't believe
there's a day event that I'm missing out on, right, where I could probably talk for longer.
I'm telling you, definitely. Like seriously, I'm really hoping that whatever plans you've got on the 30th, that you can make it happen because I just think it would
You're
be
plotting against it.
I know. Honestly, I can't lie. Because it would just be fantastic. I'm imagining the like your paintings up on the side and you just spreading your message. I can just see it being phenomenal.
Yeah,
seriously. Wow. This is fabulous.
So how long do we have left?
We've got like 5 minutes.
When we go back, yeah?
Yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah, about 5 minutes. No, about 3. So what I'll do now is we'll reflect a little over what we've discussed. You will then maybe give your final thought.
Yeah.
And then I'll say my goodbyes. Gone well, we've got 2 minutes. Brilliant. Just thinking about all the people we can connect to with, this is great. There's so many places around here that they will love you, especially at Hackney Central. So they have like, there's the McDonald's, and then opposite the McDonald's there's like this archway, but it's hidden because it's all under the archway.
Okay.
And it opens on a Saturday and people go there and they sell their wares. Loads of independent businesses, but the place is always booming every single Saturday. So that might be a great spot for you as well. There's loads. And there's quite a few pubs around here. But they're mixed pubs. So they're like for the locals and the trendies. Which I love that. Which is one just in London Fields, which is opposite the park. And they have open mic there as well. And then we have this amazing market down here on Broadway, and they've got people singing, dancing. It's amazing on a Saturday. That's another great way to meet people. There's so many creatives around here.
Yeah.
Like seriously, this is a great space.
Yeah, this is a hub of creativity.
Yeah.
That was the thing I loved, beautiful weather, but we're going through art, and like as soon as you start seeing art around places, you're like, cool, this is nice. And it's even like, I don't know, art doesn't even need to be drawn. There's like a sense to it. There's like a
It's the
smell.
truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. I like just colours.
Yeah.
Just place. You know, and they're watching them just mould together. I think it's beautiful. Oh, it's going to be here on the 30th.
And then this will be like a local
Manifesting it.
spot to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty close, right?
Totally. The sounds of Miss Jackie Carby. Jackie, you are smashing it here. We love you in the studio. We appreciate all of our artists on today's music medley. Today I've been joined by the amazing Ben Seville.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
It's been awesome. So we're just going to have our little reflection as we're coming towards the end of the show. What would you like to leave our listeners with?
Well, I mean, there's a message, isn't there?
There is.
I hope you never fit in, is the real thing I want to leave you with. To dive into it a little bit deeper, it's to meet the stranger inside of yourself. You know, to go through all of those knots in the stomach, to go through the beating and the pounding of your heart.
Absolutely.
And to
know
come
when
out
you're on the right path. Right?
Exactly. This might feel strange.
Yeah.
You know, you doing things that are out of your comfort zone or are not what you've ever done before, not what other people expect from you. You're not being yourself anymore, you're being someone so much more, and you're finding out who you can be. That's the result of never fitting in, and you go through that strange feeling, realizing it's not so strange to feel strange, and you meet a stranger on the other side. That's what I want for you the most, and of course I hope you never fit in.
We hope we never fit in.
Yeah.
We hope our listeners here never fit in. It has been an honour having you with us today, this Grand Rising in the studio. And those of you that have been listening to the show, take your time, breathe, appreciate the air. This is the most important moment of your life.
Exactly.
Take that with you. Every step that you're taking in this moment, and all those dreams that are manifesting within your heart, hold them, throw them out, release them. We need you. Connect to the truth of who you are in this moment, and then you'll connect to the truth of who you will be in the next. You know, there is nothing that is by chance. There is nothing that you cannot do if you allow yourself to unfold in the truth of who you are. My name is Charlotte, and I am your host at A Real Sisterhood. This space is your space to talk about the things that matter to you on a global scale. We can talk, we will listen, and we will receive you with love. It's been a pleasure to have you with us today. Ben, thank you for coming. Ben's going to be a regular here.
I really hope so.
Ben is going to be a regular here. It is just, the time has flown. I can't even believe it. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Real Sisterhood.
Ta-da! Nice one.
Thank you.
Listen, he's fantastic, Miro. He's coming back.
Yeah, we had a little chit chat outside.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you liked it.
So good.
Okay, Joe. Joe.